Okay, our next active figure, we'll look at, tie a little bit of this together. And what I'd like to do is show you number one, which is divergent boundary. So you have the spreading centers of the ocean depicted here, number one. And they're connected by these two segments of it are connected by a transform fault. The thing that is important here is as these plates are moving apart, these two plates are moving apart from each other, this rising magma is cooling and adhering to the end of the plate. And right here the plate motion is moving away from the spreading center. So this again is how a new plate is formed. Number two shows that plate converging. So we have a subduction here where the oceanic plate is going down underneath the continental plate and essentially being recycled as it heats and melts into the earth. And number three here is just the transform boundary or transform fault is connecting these two. And what's going on here is you have a straight line along this spreading center, but because of the curvature of the earth, there'll be these offsets to account for that. Okay, our next active figure here is moving up to the theory of what the earth looked like 750 million years ago when there was the big supercontinent known by many as Pangaea. So we can see here as we move through a timeline here, right now we're Precambrian, and these are, remember, the convective forces of the earth which we think are moving the plates around, and they're causing a breaking here, cracks where the cracks are forming and plates are diverging. It's opening up and forming ocean masses. We have plates in motion here, and again, this is theory. This is we're in the Solarian. You can see how these land masses are being thought to move around. A lot of this is mathematical modeling about what we know about current trajectories of plates. Also doing geological studies to find out that the same rock material that's connected to one continent may be found worlds away, like what was initially found in between what would be Northwest Africa and the east coast of South America around Brazil. There's commonalities in fossils and the rock material here. So you can see as we're moving through time, now we're into the Jurassic, the age of the dinosaurs, and we can start to see some patterns forming that we really start to know. North America, South America, Africa here, Australia emerging, and here's what we talked about in that previous slide a couple back, the Indian subcontinent getting ready to collide with the Asiatic plate. Okay, and there's the uplift of the mountains that would occur there in Mars. Now we can see here the Isthmus of Panama forming, closing that connection between the Atlantic and the Pacific. So now we're approaching present, and what I thought was really interesting is they actually have models projecting into the next 250 million years. And we have a collision here between Australia and Asia, and now we have Antarctica coming up into a smash, and an idea that the continents may come back together. We know the Atlantic Ocean is shrinking, Pacific is expanding, and it could just go back into motion from there. So interesting theories, a lot going on there. As we learn more and more about marine geology, of course, things are going to develop and change there. The next animation here, we're going to see, and turn the labels on, is the ocean ridge. This could be the mid-Atlantic ridge. And what we're looking at is the magnetic anomalies. And this was some of the evidence that really helped nail down this idea of the spreading plates in the ocean and how they're forming. And if you remember from the reading that the core of the Earth actually is moving faster than the mantle and the crust. And it's developed in that motion there is much like a magneto or electric motor right now, where it's generating a magnetic field on out. And we know that there's been these periodic reversals in the polarity of the Earth, the magnetic polarity between the magnetic poles, north and south. And so when that happens, when this molten rock is coming up here, this basalt is still liquid, little magnetite, which has iron in it, is acting like a little compass and pointing to true north. And because of that, we can see that there are these stripes or these bands in these moving plates which tell us, basically have left a record for us of the magnetic state of the Earth. So really cool stuff, really important as far as the whole idea of plate tectonics and spreading centers in the ocean. Very key evidence. So now moving on, we have another one. These are the see an island group here, or a bit of a plate coming down to a subduction center. So you see the ocean plate going down underneath. And what happens is this these terrains will then adhere to the continental plate, and it's new form. It's an extension of the land mass. Again, back to the Pacific Northwest, a very interesting part of the country because of its geological activity. Much of the westernmost coast of the United States, up in that northwest area, is formed with different ridges of terrains in this manner, multiple terrains. Okay, now moving on to the next slide, we're going back to plate boundaries and spreading centers in the ocean. And this is showing how a transform fault can form between as the plates move, the plates shift. There still is this movement of the two larger overarching plates moving away from each other, but there needs to be some adjustment to stressing forces of shear, and that'll cause this transform fault. And our last slide here is kind of talking about how, you can relate this to the Rift Lakes of Africa, which are talked about in the book, and how you have basically a place where ocean is beginning to form. This could have been what happened in Pangaea when land masses were moving away from each other. So at the conception here, the very initial stages, you have something like the Rift Lakes, where you have two plates moving away from each other. Something may have happened, changed in the convection cells in the Earth, and caused a different pattern, and for the hot magma to be rising up here and causing this motion. But you notice right here, these are those block patterns that they show now in these photos in the book of the Rift Lakes. So as this goes on, this could be the Atlantic Ocean forming, this could be the beginning of the Pacific, or this could be like where the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden are now, where they're starting to pull apart and grow. Okay, well, I hope you found these animations helpful. Any feedback from you guys on that would be great. Let me know if there are any technical difficulties, if you're having trouble seeing this information. Please let me know that as well. Thank you.